So when we are pursuing some impossible goals, it's not about going fast, it's about going far. And in order to go far, you have to dig deep. So the deeper you can dig into your why, your motivation, your drive, the further you can reach.
Welcome to Women Leaders on the Move, a Her C-Suite radio podcast. I'm your host, Natalie Benamou, and every week I bring you inspirational stories and insights for you to meet, engage, and thrive with people in your community and feel lifted up. I'm also the founder of Her C-Suite, and the reason that I founded Her C-Suite was specifically for that, to help women lead together, grow together, and to feel inspired. And speaking of feeling inspired, I know that today's guest is going to really inspire you. Lei Wang is an international motivational speaker and executive coach, renowned as the first Asian woman to achieve the Explorer's Grand Slam. She inspires leaders to embrace challenges, build resilience, and lead with confidence. Her journey exemplifies the power of determination and the pursuit of extraordinary goals. We talk in depth about what it took for her to climb 7 summits and also cross the 2 poles, North and South poles, and what it was to get to those milestones and the progression. And it all has to do with digging deeper to go further. I cannot wait for you to hear this conversation. So let's get started now. Lei, I'm so excited to welcome you to Women Leaders on the Move. Thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you. I'm so excited. Thank you, Natalie.
I've been watching you and your career from afar. So this is kind of a fangirl moment, if you will, because I get to talk to you and I want to find out all the things. And so for our listeners who may not know you yet, can you walk us through a little bit of the career that brought you to the work that you're doing today?
Sure, I'll give you a really short version. So I grew up in China as a book nerd, and I started my career in America as a corporate ladder climber. I worked in technology and finance. And in a change that I became an adventurer, I had a dream of climbing Everest. And that set me on a totally new trajectory of my life and my career. So in 2010, I became the first Asian woman, first Chinese woman, first Asian American to climb the 7 summits and ski to the North Pole and the South Pole. So together, that's called Explorer's Grand Slam. Then after that, I just stepped into new directions as a motivational speaker and executive coach.
So many things are coming to mind. I can't even imagine doing those things. And I'm sure our listeners are also thinking, but I think whenever we have big goals, and we were talking about this right before we started, whenever we have big goals, you don't get to that summit by just one morning waking up and going to Everest, right? There's all these steps. Can you talk a little bit about the mindset that you have to have for the long projection? Because it's not a today thing, it's going to take a little bit of time to be ready. What was some of that you had to learn and adapt as you were preparing for that?
Yeah, that's a great question because a lot of time people ask me, oh, what made you step into such a dramatically different direction? Was that an overnight sensation or dream or something? So a lot of time, inspiration may started from just one spark. Basically, for me, what the spark came from a documentary movie. But the decision is not overnight. That takes many, many years. Deliberate thinking, planning, understanding, analyzing the risk, understanding, okay, what's the mitigation method? If something goes wrong, what should I do? And what do I really want? So a lot of deep soul searching work take many, many years. So it sounds like, yes, one spark set me on this new path, but actually the deliberate planning over the years.
And thinking about that, when you do that deliberate planning and it's years, what were some of the things that you learned in that process that kept you going? Because there's had to have been some times it felt like a lot to do. Was there something that you did routinely that helped you stay on track with the preparation?
Yeah, definitely. There's many layers. So execution or operation, yes, you have tracking, progress, markers, you have daily routines, you plan ahead. So that is all on the surface how you execute. But down deeper, most important, you understand your why. And that is the most important source of force that drives you for long-term pursuit or something really hard. Because for me, at beginning, it's easy to say, yeah, I love outdoors. When you step into the mountain, everything is like the refreshing, mind opening, and you gain different perspective. It has all the mental wellness effects. Yes, that's true. But to pursue something like climbing Everest, to go after the seven summits and ski two poles, that also means you need to sacrifice your life. That basically for those years, I didn't have a normal life. All my time was spent in training and climbing. And also, I started that right after I graduated from MBA program, started a new career in investment management. If you want to progress along two tracks, that's almost impossible. Then you have to make a decision, try to understand what do you really want in your life and what is the right way to make decisions. It's not about saying, oh, keep the job or not, or calculating the ROI, or for me, that took many years for me to understand how I should make this decision. And that is about what kind of person you want to become. Do you want to become a person who has the courage to take a chance, to face the reality of recognizing in your heart what you really want, instead of on the surface to the outside world, what is considered successful, what is considered a normal track for a person like you or with your background, with your career track. So to make that independent decision takes a lot of courage, and you also have really solid understanding of your value, your purpose, your self-worth. So many things is deep soul searching for me to understand who I am, who I want to be. That give me the real strength to say, okay, this is how I'm going to make decisions, not based on just numbers or values that we normally look at.
So I'm going to have to ask this, your why for doing this, because I'm sure you think about it all the time, being able to do those things.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, that question is like come back to me again and again over the time because every time I can gain some next level understanding. It's a different level at beginning. And say, yeah, it's my passion, right? Yeah, I fell in love with climbing. I fell in love with mountains. And then next you see, actually what drives you is not really about that summit, about just going to see another mountain. And that kind of curiosity, you want to explore the world. And then you see, you want to push the edge because when I reflect back, like, oh, why this trip was so exciting? Why that one is just like average? A lot of times it comes down to what do I really learn about myself? When you are out there pushing the edge, you know you may have a chance to fail. Success not guaranteed. You have to take a giant step, even though step may be small, but in your mind, that's a giant step. You need to step outside your comfort zone. And that huge decision of making that step really push you to the next level. And that's what makes you excited when you come back and wow, like even though say number didn't change that much, but I feel I'm a different person. I feel like I have this courage to take on a giant step in my mind. That make me feel different and make me feel more confident knowing next time something comes up, I know I'll have the courage to try a little bit further, a little bit further. So that little step accumulated over time become a really big step.
When you were doing these different summits, were you doing it on your own and then getting people to go? Because I know you need people obviously to go with you to, you're not solo climbing, correct? You didn't go to Everest, the top of Everest.
Correct. Always have a team.
Yeah, you have a team. I was like, that would be, I can't imagine. So when you did that, did you have anyone with you that you knew that a colleague or a friend, or was it more around the climbing community or just the team itself to make it happen?
I relied on my climbing communities. So every mountain, it's possible you do it alone if you have the skill. However, to have a community, that is more, one is moral support, mental support, and also it's a safety. And as we learn, a lot of times you can achieve the goal by yourself, but it's much more fun when you go with other people. You grow much, much more when there's other people around to challenge you, to inspire you. You learn from each other. And sometimes, yes, you need to step in to help others. But that's the whole thing of growing together.
So you did these 7 summits, and then you decided to ski not up, but you went straight across. Am I understanding this correct? Talk to me about that because I'm not sure. And I don't know if our listeners know about that. So tell me about that part of it.
Before I went there, I didn't even know what's it involved. So ski to the South Pole actually is slightly uphill because
Oh,
more closer to the coastline. And when you get to the center, that whole continent is like a giant hill, highest in the center. So South Pole is an uphill game, and North Pole is on the ocean. So it's flat, but actually you're walking on the ocean, not on a continent. So
wow.
different kind of challenge and different kind of fun.
And how long did each of those take?
I did both for the last degree, which is from 89 degrees latitude to 90 degrees. So only one last degree that took 7 to 10 days.
Wow. Seems pretty fast to me, but I'm sure it didn't seem it in the moment, but it seems in retrospect, 7 to 10 days doesn't seem that long considering the distance.
Yeah, but in that moment, every minute felt so long. You're counting, like, I hope it's 1 hour. No, look at your watch, only 5 minutes. It's so tedious and nothing changed, especially the South Pole trip. You walk step after step, look at every direction. There's no change of scenery. The sun is hanging at the same height all day long. There's no day and night difference. There's no star, no moons. There's no bugs. There's no trees. There's nothing. So you are numb when you look at any direction. You couldn't tell any difference if you made any progress. So a minute
Wow.
feels like an hour.
Wow, that's so interesting. What was it that kept you going in that situation? Because I can only imagine that one more minute becomes another minute, right? How did you stay motivated during that time?
Well, that's kind of similar, like in a lot of time in our career, like every day to day work. Whereas a business entrepreneur, every day you're doing the same thing. You don't really see the result immediately, but you
Mhm.
have to keep in mind what is the long-term goal, what's the purpose you're serving. That drives you. Then you can know comfort yourself knowing I can now see the progress, but I know I'm making progress. I know I'm making progress toward the right direction. That I keep going, I'll get there. So for me, it's more proving that an ordinary person like me can do something extraordinary, which for other people didn't understand is I grew up in Beijing as a pure book nerd. When I was in school, I could barely run 800 meters in PE class. So for me to do something physical was something like at beginning I was laughing at, ha, I have a daydream because I didn't expect that to really come true. And none of my friends believed me. They all were just laughing at the joke. So it was a running joke for many years until one day I finally stand on top of Everest and people were, really? Is that really you? You sure?
Not Photoshop, that's me, right? Did you want to say like that's not somebody else? That's amazing. So you did these 7. How did you pick the 7? What was that process? Like how did you decide which one to go to? Is there a progression that people usually try to do?
Yeah, so my original dream was to climb Everest. So that was 2004. I was inspired by some documentaries. I said, oh, I think an ordinary person like me can climb Everest. So that was a daydream. But then, as a trained engineer, my background was computer science. So I said, well, I'm going to pull out an Excel spreadsheet. I'm going to start to make a plan. And I'm very good doing research. So I did some research. At that time, 2004, Facebook was just in its early stage and social media was not so dominating. No one really knows about how to climb a mountain at that time. So I just did some research, found, oh, there's something called the Seven Summits. And then, okay, if I make a plan to climb some of the smaller one first at the training and I climb a bigger one, then that will set me up as a training path to climb Everest. So that's how the Seven Summits came along. And then since one of the mountains is in Antarctica, then why not just go to South Pole also? Then if you're going to go that far, why don't you just go to North Pole too? So that's how I came up with this plan.
Wow. And now in your work, so you still are climbing. Are you working towards anything right now that you're doing, that you're working on another mountain project or climbing? Because I know that when we scheduled this, you're training on the weekends and things. So what are you working on now that you're, excited about?
Well, climbing is still my passion and also it's my lifestyle. So it's like for me, going to the mountains is just like for people going to the gym. I'm constantly training, stay in shape to just be able to enjoy these sports. And I'm not working on any list. For me, the progress is gauged by, well, I think this time I was able to do something at this level better than last time. I made a progress. Then that is my like achievement for me. That I can see, oh yeah, over the years I was able to raise my lead level by one notch. So that gave me the personal satisfaction of knowing I'm still growing, I'm still making progress.
And I'm wondering about, shifting into you're a coach and you're executive coach. And when we think about the world today, it seems so uncertain. And I'm thinking about as you're climbing, there had to have been moments where there might have been some uncertainty as you were climbing the seven summits. There must have been some moments where there was weather. Did that help you in the way that you then approach working with people to help the mindset for leadership?
Yeah, definitely. So for climbers, the change is a constant thing. Weather is always changing. We say there's no weather forecast. There's the weather, but no forecast. Every mountain is different, and every mountain, every time you get on it, is different. You never know what to expect, but you know if you plan thoroughly, if you train properly, you will get it. Maybe not this time. Maybe you're going to discover something you need to train better next time. But one day you're going to get it. And same thing in business or in working with my clients. Not everything you say, oh, I'm going to try this way. That way may not work. But as long as you keep trying and you have a good guidance, good plan, something good will come along. So you have a goal of reaching certain milestones. Maybe it doesn't happen overnight or at the schedule you wanted, but if you keep doing the right thing, things will happen for you. So that kind of confidence is super assuring, give me peace of mind, and it give me the confidence of trust the process, keep doing what I'm doing.
And when people feel like they get stuck and they're afraid, there had to have been moments of fear, people getting stuck, and that we face things that are uncomfortable or that you're not sure about. What do you tap into when you get into those moments? And then how do you help the people that you coach when you are faced with those moments of fear?
Of course, one is related to how I felt when I started climbing. I know there's things look scary when you first start out, but then once you stand on top of that mountain, look back, you're going to laugh at yourself that, hey, why you were so scared. If you just take time, go step by step, you're going to find a way. So same thing in life or in working with my clients. Yeah, I understand. One is I understand why they're scared of certain things, why they couldn't make that step, even from someone who is expert level looking at their level may think, oh, that's so simple, but understand it's scary when you start out. Everyone feels that way. And I also know how you can help them to move over that fear. Because a lot of time we want a quick solution. We want give me the answer right now. But truth is, giving you one answer right now only move you one step. You're going to be stuck next time again, and you're going to be scared next time again. But if you have the patience, approach this thing step by step, go from the deeper why, deeper purpose, deeper value, make a systematic plan approach, and you know this process will work. You have that trust in that process. Then you know this time maybe take me longer time to solve this one problem, but I have the confidence. The next time a new problem comes up, I know how to solve it. So instead of getting the quick answer today, I have a key in my own hands that can solve the problem over the long term. So I think giving the clients that kind of trust makes them understand mastering the process actually is a faster way than having a quick solution today.
Oh, so good. I mean, I am so inspired by the things that you're doing. And I'm quiet because I'm just absorbing all the things that you're saying. And I'm mesmerized by just the triumph that you've created for yourself in achieving those things, but also for people that work with you. And can you describe a little bit about that? Because I know you have something coming up when this comes out that you're going to be launching. So, what do you have coming up in the fall?
Yeah, thank you for asking. So I'm working with executives in the organizations, corporations, upper their leadership performance and also help them lead their team better. So for later this year, when the podcast comes out, I'm sure my workshop will be launched that is helping the executive step up to the next level of leadership, of how to navigate corporate politics, navigate their like soft skill people management issues when they step into the executive level that helps them lead their team with confidence.
I can't wait to share all of that for our listeners. And I'm so grateful to you for this time today. I've really enjoyed. I've learned so much about something I knew nothing about before we got on today, other than reading about you before our call, but I didn't really have much perspective before having this conversation. I feel so inspired, as I know our leaders and listeners do as well. If people want to find you, where's the best place to go?
One is on LinkedIn that my handle is Lei Wang, LeiWang. Very simple, my full name together on LinkedIn, or my website, which is mightymouthspeaker.com, because I'm always the smallest one on the mountain, but I'm the mighty one. So I'm the mightymouthspeaker.com.
Great. I will have both links in the show notes. Thank you so much, Lei, for being on the show. I've really enjoyed it. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Natalie. It's an honor to be here.
Thank you for spending your time with us today. I know you got so much out of this conversation, as did I. I learned a lot about mountain climbing, but more so about persistence, perseverance, vision, and planning, and many other things. And I'm so inspired because all of the speakers that we have on this show are invited to be in our Women Leaders on the Move circle in her C-suite. If you would like to get access to me and the guests from this show, visit hercsuite.com and check it out. We would love to have you join us and interact in our community. If you found this episode helpful, I would be really grateful if you would rate and review it on your favorite podcast app and share it with a friend or colleague. Keep shining your light bright. The world needs you.